Well, hey there, guys. Welcome to the live stream on this beautiful Saturday morning here in the Owasso, Oklahoma area. We've been covered in a blanket of snow, and maybe that's your case where you're at, or maybe you're in Australia and it's summer there. But I'm happy to hop online with you guys here on this Saturday and just talk about worship and tech stuff, what all's been going on, and new songs that are out there. Today, we're going to talk new things that I've noticed in worship and tech that, I don't know, will these things be things we use? We're going to review some churches' live streams that have submitted those. And then we're going to also do a special segment of Get Off My Church Lawn, of a new song that, honestly, I've had on repeat this last week or so. So, guys, drop into the comments today and just let me know where you're watching from. And, I don't know. Let's see who all's in the chat. I'm always interested to see all over the world where people are joining us from. And let's see. Right here, we've got Naaman jumping on. He's one of my fellow Okies. Thanks for hopping on the stream today. Austin, he said, retro countdown timer. I like it. Yes, I think I got that one off Igniter Media. We have a subscription to Igniter. I'm really a fan of the subscription that you get. We pay like 500 something bucks, and they have a lot of good stuff, and they have great mini movies and stuff like that. So Austin is actually hopping on from Guatemala. That is so cool, down in Central America. Thanks for jumping on the live stream. And then we have ACA Electronic City. Good morning from Bangalore, India. And then I've got my student pastor in the house, Noah. He says it's a beautiful morning up in Ulaga, where he's from. And then Josh hopping on from Frisco, Texas. Very cool. Yes, let's see who else is jumping in today. Let me just show you my setup here. We've got a little change up today, which is why the stream started a little bit early. So let me see if I can show you over here. Okay, so today, I've been trying to stream from my ATEM Mini Pro, and it's just been giving me fits. And Teradek actually reached out to me and wanted to know, if I would be interested in reviewing a couple of their products, not paying me to do it or anything. Actually, I have to pay to ship it back. So I've got them for like a week. But one of them is this unit right here, this Teradek Wave that just looks like a little monitor. And so the stream you're seeing right now is going into that out of the ATEM Mini Pro via HDMI and then Ethernet, just hardwired over to YouTube. And so it says it's an excellent connection, and the ATEM Mini Pro is the one that's been giving me all those fits recently and not working, where I've had to go Wi-Fi off my MacBook Pro. So a couple outputs out of my MacBook, and H2R graphics is how I'm sending these live stream chats. And we're going to talk more about the Teradek stuff. I also have right here a couple of Teradek Spark 4K units that they sent me to look at. I've made quite a few videos on my channel, just breaking down like budget wireless video transmitters, because way back in the day I started doing this stuff with little cheap Nyrus Pro stuff that's meant for like gamers. And they're expensive, right? These are $1,500, but that's the same as the Teradek Ace 500 that we've been using. So they sent me this to try out, and obviously I have to send it back next week. So I might hook those up before I leave today on maybe our cable cam for Sunday morning. But the Wave unit is interesting because it can record, it can live stream encoding, but it's like a 5-in-1 device, and it's got a monitor built in. It's just really interesting because it could take the place of what we're paying, or we've paid three things to like do. We have a screen for our Web Presenter HD, and then we have a HyperDeck Mini to handle our recording stuff, right? And so this unit, the Wave, is kind of like all three of those combined. And I'll have to check the pricing. I feel like, I don't know, it's like $900 or $1,000. I could be wrong on that. But I don't know, it's an interesting unit for churches that are still in the ATEM Studio HD or ATEM Studio 4K world or anything up above that you have to have separate encoding and separate recording, not like an ATEM Mini Pro or the ATEM Mini Extreme. Those already have those built in, right? For cheaper than what this unit right here costs. So yeah, it's an interesting unit. I wasn't even thinking about it, but they were like, hey, you should check this out too. So what's my first impressions of the Teradek? I literally opened these up about an hour ago before I started this live stream and got it up and running, and it's working. So the user interface of the Wave is really pretty simple. I mean, there's a couple things I couldn't figure out right off the bat. So I don't know. More of that to come. I'll probably make individual videos over both these units. Are you interested in wireless video transmission? You know, we're using two of these, not these, but two wireless transmitters in our worship stuff all the time, and I absolutely love them, the flexibility that it gives you. But, you know, if you can't trust it to stay connected, then it doesn't do you much good. So Austin says, quality looks great. Cool. Yeah, whenever I look at the preview of the Wave versus the preview versus like on my phone, it looks pretty much normal. Like I don't see any contrast weirdness like sometimes you'll get out of an ATEM Mini Pro. I'm streaming at 6 megabytes per second, which is kind of like higher standard, you know, like on your ATEMs, the streaming high is like 6 to 8, I think. So, yeah, that's cool. What do you guys use for encoding? I know there's lots of stuff out there, but we've been using the Web Presenter HD and have had good luck with it. So, Naaman says they use a data video switcher and a Vimeo subscription for our live stream running vMix. Okay. So I wonder if that data video switcher must be going into a computer to get to Vimeo. Zany says, hey, Rylan Russell, how do you automate your church lighting? Do you use Ableton Live to automate? That's a good question. So for automation of lights, we actually don't do that very often. I'm a big fan of having someone actually there pushing the button. Unless it's a very like intricate, like on the beat, has to change the lights kind of thing. So the way that we automate our lights is we build everything in one playlist in Jans Vista, and then we have somebody just clicking play at the right times, and those are designated by either timeline in the song or the slide number or something like that. The way we do automate it when we go that route is we add MIDI cues that are just play commands to different slides in ProPresenter. And so when the timeline is played, we use timelines a lot. If you haven't followed me, that's a thing we do. When we use the timeline, we click play. We record the timing of when to hit those slides, and it literally is just sending a play command over to Jans Vista. There's actually a video on our church's channel, CBC Owasso, that I did a long time ago about that. If you search for like Jans Vista MIDI or something like that, and maybe I can put that link in the description after we get done with the live stream to point you guys to that. All right, so I do want to say that today, if you saw the thumbnail, yes, this weekend celebrating my birthday, and I just wanted to do a live stream and bring up this little super chat button again because I want to raise some money for a great cause today. There's no pressure, guys, but if you're somebody who super chats and does that kind of thing, even like, you know, $2, $3, $4, $5, whatever, that all of the super chats are going to be going to an organization called Project Hope Worldwide, and they're a local organization that we partner with as a family, and our church also partners with, that are right here out of Owasso. And Project Hope, let me just show you some of the stuff that they do. I've traveled all over the world with them, it seems like. So Project Hope Worldwide. I have had the opportunity to travel to, well, what they do is they do orphan care. And let me just see if I can still talk to you. Hold on just a second. What happens if we do this, but then we do this? Ooh, did you like that? So they do orphan care in Mexico, in Uganda, in Southeast Asia, and in Nicaragua. And so we sponsor 3 different kids, not the full sponsorship by any means. I think it's like $38 a month per kid that, you can be a part of their monthly sponsorship. But I've actually traveled to 3 of those 4 places, not to Southeast Asia, but to capture video work and do photography for them. And they're an amazing, awesome organization. Actually, my wife is there at their office today doing a little prep thing, a little training. And so I've got all 3 kids running around the church right now. So if one of them breaks in here, just know that it's probably for a good reason, that they're injured or something. So, but any super chats that happen today, you'll get the buzzer. And I don't know, H2R may automatically play confetti and stuff. I don't know if that's going to work or not. Just know that that's what those are going to go to. It won't go to me. But I just wanted to try and raise a little bit of extra money for that organization on my birthday. So yeah, let's see who else is jumping into the chat today. Oh, Naaman says happy birthday. Thanks, man. Okay, well, let's dive into some new worship tech. And as we do that, I'm going to talk about a few things I've noticed. If you have any questions about worship and tech stuff, just drop them into the chat and we'll have a little bit of time to go over those things. So there's been some cool stuff, though, that has come out. Have you guys seen this new Stream Deck pedal from Elgato? It is a neat little device that is controlled via foot, and it's like the little Stream Deck, surface mount guys. But this version, it has 3 pedals, okay? Or you can make that center pedal just a resting foot pedal, but it's not like a Bluetooth page turner. It can be, but what this does is any function that the Stream Deck can do, these guys, it can do it with the push of a button on your foot. And so, I don't know, it's interesting. If we look at, let me see if I can find where that would be at. When you only have 4 inputs, you have to turn off your ProPresenter input to go over to. Yeah, so here's the Stream Deck pedal. And they kind of show it you could control tracks and stuff while you're editing, or little animations here for gamers controlling things. And there's a Bluetooth page turner kind of thing. Trigger chain reaction. So this is kind of the power that I could see maybe. If you were a guy who has to do it all, and you're sitting back there having to run sound, but then maybe you need to run ProPresenter at the same time. Or is there a way maybe we can make this sync in with multi-tracks through Companion or something? I don't know. It's an interesting device. What do you guys think? Would you ever use this Stream Deck pedal? And then the other one that I wanted to show you guys was over here, this Snoppa Rover. Look at this thing. All-terrain cinema dolly. It's got electronic stabilization in the feet, supposedly. I don't know if I believe this, but it's just released for pre-orders, I think. And I think it's around $2,000. Very interesting, though. Look at this. It's like a robot dolly tripod camera guy. Have you guys seen that? I saw Joel Smith, who is this genius camera guy that posts a lot of stuff into the Church Sound Media Techs and all over the place on Facebook, just because he has so much experience. He kind of joked about it, and some people were like, I don't know, I might use that. But you see these dolly shots that are behind the crowd and stuff, and if it says on there you can predetermine set points for it to go. I don't know if I trust it like without a track though. And I really like it didn't have like a gimbal head on it. So the Snoppa Rover is what that was called if you want to look into it more. Have you heard of that? It's kind of interesting. All right, I'm just going to look at the chat here and see what you guys are asking about. Josh says, or he asks, I asked recently, but curious if you had any more thoughts about going to a church conference this year. Did you decide which one you attend? I did yesterday. I got an email from Salt out of Nashville, Long Hollow Church. And the thing that's tough for me is I really this year want to take some people with me and not just go by myself. So especially like my intern or some other guys from my church. And so I'd really prefer one maybe in Dallas or something like that, but I don't know, maybe it's not that big a difference if you're just going to have to pay for lodging anyways. Victory Church here in Tulsa sometimes has one, so I might check that out as well so we don't have to travel. But I've heard great things about Salt. Have you guys ever been to Salt? It's supposed to be great, and they've done it for years. Austin says, the pedal's an interesting device. I don't have any use for it now. It's $90 and out of stock already on Elgato. Oh man, that's the case with everything right now, right? Everything's out of stock. It's hard to get things. Hey, it's Chris. Glad you made it to the live stream as well. Hopefully this Saturday is treating you well. There was another interesting thing that I got in email this week from PraiseCharts. Let's see if I can show you guys that. Oh, we got to turn off ProPresenter here. Let's see. So ProPresenter came out. ProPresenter. Too many names, too many things. PraiseCharts came out with a new product called Worship Keys this week. And it's kind of intriguing. And I emailed them back and said that, well, let's just break down what it is first. So Worship Keys is just like all the other ones you've seen that are basically a main stage template that they actually sell a little skin that you can buy for your, what are those called? We've got one. We got two of them actually. A little MIDI controller thing. It does use all stock main stage sounds except this one free plugin that I've never heard of called OBXD Synthesizer. And then I think from the way it looks right now, they're offering a lot of free patches. I have not tried these out, but what I told them was, that I would be really interested in moving towards Worship Keys. We right now use Abel Mendoza's Worship Essentials, and it's cool. I've used some of the Sunday key sounds as well. But what would really put this over the top is if they would include sheet music like they have for the pianists and stuff that actually matched what you should play in the main stage template. If it has multi-layered sounds throughout, then if they could make a sheet music that had like exactly how to play it, where when she went up an octave, it played the synth line. Because a lot of their music is really includes the guitar parts in it and all this kinds of stuff. And nobody else really does that. It's just chord sheets. And if you're like me, I have pianists that they really prefer to have actual sheet music to, be able to play it precisely. And they can play off chord sheets and go in and kind of figure out the melody lines or the little hooks or whatever. But they prefer to have sheet music. So I think if PraiseCharts could integrate the two somehow for people like me that have more traditional players but want to use modern sounds, I'd be really interested in that whole product line. So let's see. Oh, yes. Thank you, Naaman. Korg Nano 2. Yes. Yeah, so Naaman says worship keys looks like a copy of what David is doing at Sunday Sounds. Is it Sunday Sounds or Sunday Keys? I don't know. Yeah, and listen, David wasn't the first one to do it. I think Abel Mendoza may have been the first one to do it, but there was also another guy even before him that I found that had a main stage template, and there's lots of people that have come out with them. So it's essentially the same idea, and there's room for it though if they do it a little bit differently, I think. Yeah, Ezra says it's like a distant relative of Sunday Keys, but everyone is starting to favor that now. Yeah, it seems like, Sunday Keys sounds weren't as good sounding to me as Abel Mendoza's sounds, but it was using all stock main stage stuff, so that was the nice thing. I do love how they provide tutorials for a lot of their stuff on how to use it, but I really wish they would just take the MIDI file that they record and just put it into sheet music, and that would help our pianists a lot. Worship Artistry does do that a little bit. If you subscribe to Worship Artistry, a lot of times they will put the little sheet music in there for what he's using, but he's using Omnisphere and some other plugin. I can't remember. Maybe a VST for the piano stuff. Yeah. Okay, let's do some Q&A time on the live stream. And remember that today, yes, if you saw the thumbnail, my birthday is this weekend, and I'd love to raise a little bit of money to go to Project Hope Worldwide. They do orphan care all over the world. We partner with them. Our family does. Man, this is starting to feel like a K-Love pledge drive. I'm sorry. So that's the last thing I'm going to say. The last time I'm going to say anything about Project Hope. But if you do want to get the little red button of cheers pushed, you can super chat, and anything that we get today will go to Project Hope Worldwide. If you want more information about them, it's projecthopeworldwide.org. So drop in the chat, guys. What questions do you got? What projects are you working on? Man, we got so many things going on here at the church right now. It is crazy, and we are renovating our youth worship center, which we're calling it the Venue, and that just has really begun in the last 3 weeks. So every day, right outside of my office here, it's just constant construction, which is just exciting, honestly, to hear. Going to have some really cool tech in there for them, so I'm excited to kind of show you guys what's going on there. I told you I'm going to be looking at this Teradek Spark 4K that was sent to me. I've got it for a few days to look at, so I'm going to hook this up maybe on our roamer or our cable cam for Sunday and just see how it performs differently than our Teradek Ace 500. If you missed the opening of our stream where I'm using the Teradek Wave right there, that screen, to send out this live stream. And I don't know why it's always putting the key on every time that I don't know. It's weird. Whatever. So what do you guys got going on? Any big projects at your church? Here in just a minute, we're going to do a little get off my church lawn segment, and I've got 2 churches that we're going to review their live streams together. But the reason I do these live streams is really I just want to connect with you guys. This week I put out a video, if you didn't see it, of 10 of my favorite camera angles for live streaming stuff I'm always changing things up, but which I think is good for your live stream if you can, which is one of the reasons I like the cameras that we use, and they're not preset PTZ stations. But if you didn't get a chance to check that out after this live stream. And I hope it helps people. But the reason I do these live streams is so that, I can just say hey and chat with you guys, and I don't know, just answer any questions you guys might have. So Naaman says, we're ready for a stage layout, backdrop, and lighting redesign. That's a lot. I just don't know where to start. We have big stained glass windows, so that's limiting. Yeah, I'm thinking of churches with stained glass windows that I've seen do really cool stuff. Obviously, Churchfront came out with a tech tour of a church that has stained glass windows. Theirs were a lot smaller though, and on the sides. If you've been to Frontline in Oklahoma City, Naaman, they've got, stained glass stuff. Maybe you just got to embrace it instead of trying to fight it. I'm not sure. Most of those churches, though, that are fighting ambient light like that are trying to go modern or adding like an LED wall just to be able to overcome. That way you're not trying to black out these beautiful stained glass windows, right? But yeah, that's a lot of things to tackle. Austin asks, what do you use as your main soundboard? We're on an analog Yamaha 32 channel board and looking at digital. So in our main worship center, we use a Midas M32, and I've been extremely happy with it. We installed it probably 5 or 6 years ago, and I've had zero issues with it. We are getting an X32 in our youth facility that we're updating, and the reason we're doing that is just to be able to cross-train volunteers. So with the M32, though, it's done everything we needed it to do. We haven't really ever run out of channels. There's been a couple of times where, we've added like 8 or 10 lapel mics for plays or whatever that use case may be, but where we've kind of been close on running out of channels. But you can get up to 40 channels actually if you use the aux ins. So the M32 is great. We don't use like Dante. That's something that I need to learn about. I know that a lot of people use that. We haven't had to use it. And our broadcast mix is actually coming out of that same board. It's a stereo bus mix, and I have a video on my channel. If you're interested in doing that, you could probably do a similar thing with a post fader aux send on your Yamaha board, even though it's analog. The nice thing about digital is, well, there's a few things that are nice, not having to have a giant snake if you get a digital snake. Recalling presets. We have our youth right now that meet in the same space, so they have a preset on the soundboard that just changes everything for their service. We come in, recall our preset for our worship service, which is super handy. Obviously, recording multi-track audio, remixing things, all the digital processing and effects you can do. It's great, man. I'd highly recommend it if you can. There's lots of other boards that are coming out now, the Avantis, the Wing, the SQ series. So, there's options out there for sure. It would just, it depends on your budget, on what you can afford and really what you need. Like, you may not need 48 stereo channels of processing. Like that may be overkill for your situation. So, all right, guys, I think it's time for us to do a little segment of the show that I like to call Get Off My Church Lawn.
What's all that racket?
If it's not from the Broadman, I don't even sing it. They just don't make music like they used to.
And am I looking at them with an old man eye? So there you go. There is Get Off My Church Lawn, Same God from Elevation Worship. ACA says Elevation's music is fantastic. Yeah, man, if one of the ways that I like to be able to see, like, is this a song that can stand on its own, is I'll go find the acoustic versions, and there's one of Chris and that guy just sitting in a stairwell just singing the song, and it's like 8 minutes long, and I'm just like connecting, and the lyrics are so good, and the melody is strong, and so I don't know. I'm confused. I'm saying, oof, well, there's that. Bummer. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Stream unavailable. Oh, just a minute. Aw, copyright got me. Naaman, it was nice knowing you. Hey, we're back, I think. Let's go, baby. Temporarily blocked. You know, there's a copyright is an interesting thing. People have asked me, how do you get away with doing these things on your live stream? And there is a fair use, like evaluating a work kind of copyright, where basically I end up not monetizing these live streams at all. And any of the ads that play on these live streams afterwards go straight to these different creators. So that's the way that I'm able to do it, is I don't monetize these videos, but since we're evaluating the works, it's okay. I'm not trying to like just play the songs for y'all and steal them. But, you know, the YouTube bots don't know that off the hand. So that's the first time it's ever happened to me on a live stream. So let's see if it happens as we jump into these live stream reviews. That will be interesting, right? So we've got two churches here that I want to look into. We might only have time for one of them. This first one is Oklahoma City Community Church. Josh Nasser put this one up for review. So let's help him out. We're going to help him out with just camera angles and coloring and things like that. They have 4 G85s, which are Panasonic cameras, 2 handheld and 2 on tripods, and they're using vMix. The audio is a templated mix out of the board. It's not live switched or anything. So they're unique because they actually set up in a theater in Oklahoma City, and they set up and tear down every single week. And they have to use their audio and their lights and everything. So they set this live stream setup up every Sunday, and maybe that's you as well. And these guys are near and dear to my heart because I know Stephen, the worship leader there, been to this church, and actually we've met on Zoom and just kind of talked back in the day of what they might dream up as far as doing a multicam setup. And so this is the direction they went after we talked. And so let's look at Oklahoma City Community Church's live stream. Let me see if I can get it pulled up over here. And let's give them some feedback. Oh gosh, did I break it? Let's see. I have to mute it first and see if I can get her going here. I broke it, didn't I? All right. All right, so this is kind of in the middle of their service. I just found a spot here where they're going to start a song here. So 4 G85s. One thing that I really like that they do, even on these kind of head-to-toe shots that I think are on a tripod technically, they're kind of doing they're staying with people. It's not just a static shot. You know, what is that called, y'all? A lot of the pros do this little figure 80 thing where you're floating with them. So here's a stage cam, kind of over the shoulder stuff. White balance looks great. Key light looks great on Steven there. Love the lyrics that you're what is that, Beavis New? on the font, maybe. The only time I don't like this is whenever it's the same thing on the screen in the shot as on the bottom. I don't know, sometimes that can be a little distracting, but that's okay. Love the perspectives of being in the crowd. Really makes me as a viewer feel like I'm there with them. One thing I did notice for you guys stream whenever I watched it from the top, guys, is there was not really any establishing kind of shot. I know this is like a really big theater, but it would be cool for me. I've been there, but not in the room, and so I don't really have a full context of this room. That's why I like to start usually with a wide shot. I'm not sure what lenses you have on that G85s in the back, but even one of the stage cams kind of pointing out to show the full room, and when you start, or even during the countdown. I've seen some churches do that where it'll be like a little bit of a blurred out image with the countdown going the last minute or something that shows the full thing. Let's listen a little bit here to this and just watch, and I'll hush. Love the handheld stuff. Got a close-up of the guitar and the piano. Love that kind of push into the drums handheld thing. That's nice. Yeah, you're really utilizing that stage cam guy to get a lot of different shots, which is awesome. Love that shot right there, man. That's plant that guy. Plant that guy right there on that side aisle where his arm is always right there in the shot. Yeah, that's awesome. One thing that I will say, I really like the pacing of your switching. That's one thing that I really want to get better at training our volunteers is as that song built and got faster and bigger, your switching was faster and bigger. And you might be tempted on a song like Waymaker to switch to like Dissolves or something like that. And, you know, you didn't. You kept with the hard cuts. And I think that that was a good decision. Really, guys, I would say stick with hard cuts 90% of the time if you can, and really try to stay away from cross dissolves. I just think it looks more professional unless there's a reason to do the dissolve. But the pacing was good. Your lighting was good. Guys, remember, this is a setup and tear down church. One of the great things about those G85s is you have like a custom dial. Most cameras have that, but where they can have that set and save so that way they take their G85s out and they go. Now, I would ask Josh, how are you happy with are you battery powering these things? Because with the G7 and the G85, that would be one of my concerns. Like we try not to battery power anything, but we do have one camera that we've been battery powering that has the smaller, they're tiny. Like these are the GH4 and GH5 batteries, and this is similar to the size of the G85 batteries. Those are actually Canon batteries, but hopefully they're lasting long enough for you. But props, guys, man, that looks awesome. Like super, super impressed. What are you guys saying in the live chat? What do you think? Okay, so here, hey, he's in the chat. What's up, Josh? Let's go. He says we got them rigged up with V-mount batteries on each. Runs the rig for about 4 hours. That's smart. That's really good. Just like D-tap out of there with into like the dummy battery or something maybe. Yeah. Naaman says, I dig the look where the singers are in better light than the band. So remember Josh was saying that they don't really get to they have to use the venue's lighting. So, you know, with that, they've got a screen that's projected on that back wall, that scrim it looks like. And so you're probably having to battle washing out washing out the screen if you bring key light back onto those people. But yeah, it's a cool look. You know, you got your singers in the front that have key lighting. Not everybody has to have equal lighting. Maybe you could get away with doing some spotlighting like you've seen like Church on the Move or some other churches do, where it has like a little light next to your drummer, or a little light next to your keyboard player. We got that just to give a little bit of like practical lighting ambiance that wouldn't wash out the full thing. Setting up and tearing down, though, like that would be one extra thing that you'd have to worry about. So any other thoughts on here? All right, we are going to do one last live stream review. Let's see how I can get that. There we go. And this live stream was submitted by, let me find it here in my Google Forms. Loading response. I loaded all this at home on my internet there, and then when I brought it up here, it did not like that. I switched. Here we go. This is Baraka Church, and Joe Riley submitted this one. Joe, if you're in the chat, let us know. They've got a pretty sweet setup, guys. I'll break it down for you, and then we'll look at it. As far as gear, they've got 5 Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6K cameras, 5 of those. One that's tight for teaching, one that's center close, and one center back. So that's 3 right there in the center. It's a great setup. Then they have right and left of the stage. They're all 5 Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6Ks. I'd be interested what lenses you're using on those. Then they have a production 4K studio and a Resi encoder, PreSonus mixer running a matrix mix. And they're looking to change that in the future to its own dedicated mix. And Joe would like just some thoughts on directing, shot composition, and pacing. So let's hop over here to their live stream and see if I can get it to play. Might have to refresh it too.
As close to prophetic as I ever got, this is what I said. If I can't be a part...
It's kind of a cool opener. I like that you're kind of showing the church in action before the live stream starts. That's a big church. Is this really? Dang. I keep looking at that camera, but I should be looking at that camera. All right, 3, 2, 1. Let's see how they start.
Welcome to Baraka Church. Would you stand with us as we worship our Savior today?
Okay, I'm sorry. Like, this isn't evaluating your gear, but it's like such an epic intro, and you might as well just like start the service big. I don't know. Is this the same church that was on the opener? Maybe this is like a different satellite campus or something, maybe? That could be it. So they got a violinist.
Without hope and no place to begin. Love made a way.
Let's see if I can make a full screen for y'all.
Death was arrested.
Lyrics are really clear. Skin tone wise, it looks pretty good. Looks like you got some purple lights going on, so that might be casting onto people's faces.
My orphan heart was given a name.
I might skip forward here.
My morning grew quiet, my
We've been on this shot for a long time. And again, I would say like not having an opening context shot, that was confusing for me. Like, is this the same church that I just saw in the opener video? All right, let's just, okay, so there. We've got this shot, which is probably the shot that I would start on. Obviously, she started talking at the very beginning, which made it hard. maybe let her say her welcome and then go to a shot like this where immediately I'm like, oh, okay, here's the room. And here's the right side, same Blackmagic cam. I'm curious what key lights you're using to light people. I'm seeing a little bit of that like bluish hue that can come from using like RGB lights and stuff, but overall, like it looks really, really crispy, really nice. I just think you're staying on these shots too long, which you got 5. Yeah, you got 5 cams. And so far, I've not seen any motion. These may not be manned cameras, but even just having one of them being manned, adding some motion, some movement would go a long ways. I'm just kind of, going through here 5 seconds at a time. We kind of just been bouncing back and forth between 3 shots. So that's a good little head-to-toe medium shot. Looks good. And maybe I'm crazy, but it just looks like the skin tones are a little pinkish, pinkish blue. Like it's just that RGB kind of look to them instead of actual like tungsten lighting, 3200, 4000 Kelvin, whatever. So we're just going forward. I mean, honestly, you just need to incorporate. I would take one of those Blackmagics off of the back, put it in somebody's hands with a wireless transmitter, and have them walking around the room. So this stream, while it has great tech, the picture looks sharp. As a viewer, it's not as interesting to watch, and it's probably just not translating exactly what's happening in the room as well as you would want it to. I want to feel like these shots are kind of up above people's heads, pointing down, and I would rather that kind of be level with the crowd, just because this is more that fly on the wall look where, hey, look, I'm watching from the balcony, not the balcony, it's not that high, but you know what I'm saying? It's kind of on a perch looking down at this band. This one, you can see the crowd, but I would just, anything you can do to add some rawness to it, some movement to these shots. So let's just listen a little bit more.
Praise to you only. It's your breath in our lungs. So we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs. So we pour out our praise to you only.
I know you said you're looking at moving your audio to a dedicated mix. It's always interesting to me. It looks like you're using electronic drums. I could be wrong on that. I think those are E drums. So you should be able to have those loud enough in the mix where you shouldn't have to be worried about that. But it's hard to hear them a little bit. Yeah, those are E drums. Yeah, just even incorporating some crowd mics or something. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I crazy? Josh, he's sometimes on a 30-foot ladder in the mornings. Sorry, I'm just going back through these comments after giving that feedback on that live stream. Good stuff in here, guys. Helping each other out. That's what it's all about. Yeah, Austin is talking about getting his lyrics onto his live stream. Actually, ProPresenter, I believe, has this built in to where you can have a theme that reduces your paragraphs to 2 instead of 4. Let's see if I can figure this out. I believe there's a tutorial from Renewed Vision about how to do this. I'm just looking in here. Do you guys remember how? Help them out if you can. I know that there is a way to do it, though. Lines only. No, not lines only. I mean, you can always go in and change your theme to remove paragraph breaks, but I'm trying to remember how to make it only 2 paragraphs instead of 4. There's a I can't talk anymore. It's been an hour. There's a specific tutorial that Renewed Vision has that could probably help you out, though. So. All right, friends. I think that wraps up our live stream today. I hope that tomorrow morning that your church is just, that God is glorified in everything we do. I'm excited to get to worship together. We got to hopefully get our parking lot cleared of all the snow today, or maybe it'll just melt off. We'll see. But glad that I didn't get put in YouTube prison yet from evaluating these songs. But we will see going forward if I'm still able to do it or not. Appreciate you guys hopping on the live stream today. Remember, if you are looking for something to give towards for a good cause, check out projecthopeworldwide.org. It's the orphan care organization that we partner with and sponsor through, and maybe going to Mexico with soon. I don't know. We'll see. So appreciate you guys. I'm going to try and hop over here and figure out how to kill my live stream with this Teradek Wave that I've got going. So this could be interesting. All right, I found it. All right, remember, guys, we can do a lot of great things. Wow, what happened there? I swiped up. That's funny. All right, we can do a lot of great things. Let's do it all for God's glory. See ya.